What is good, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. As usual, if you're new here and enjoy NBA content, would appreciate you taking 1 second of your time to subscribe to the channel and like this video. But today's video is going to be about Desmond Bane, the shooting guard on the Memphis Grizzlies, was taken with the 30th pick in the draft a couple years ago, and I believe he is one of the more underrated offensive players in the league today. And we all know the situation with Ja is not ideal. Probably going to be suspended for a significant amount of time. But I do feel like the Grizzlies are equipped, or at least as equipped as you can be, to lose an all-star just because of where Bane is offensively. And coming in the league, again, 30th pick, he was billed as just a shooter, and that's what he was going to do. That's valuable. He's going to space the floor. But boy, has he proved us wrong. He does not really have any flaws in his offensive game. One of the few players on Basketball Index that was an A in terms of three-point shooting, an A in terms of playmaking, and an A in terms of finishing. That's in the 90th percentile or above in all three of those. He can score at the rim. He can score in the mid-range. He can score from three. He has unlimited range, and he's honestly a really sneaky playmaker as well. So I'm excited to get into these clips, man. I hope you enjoy. And I do think that Desmond Bane, especially given the load that he'll have early on without Ja Morant, has a very good chance of being an all-star next year. But let's waste no more time. Let's get into the video and break down some of these clips. All right, let's start with the three-point shot because that is his number one strength. Yes, he can do other things very well, but it all starts with the three-point shot, and that's really what opens everything else up on the floor for him. But simply put, Desmond Bane is an absolutely elite three-point shooter, and there's really no aspect of the three-point shot that he doesn't excel in. Obviously, he's going to rail the wide-open threes. I don't even feel like I need to show you that. But he hits the tough threes as well. He shoots it well off the dribble. He shoots it well going right, going left. He has unlimited range, which we'll actually get to later in the video. And he's a great movement shooter as well. So he can run full speed going to the left, still have his momentum taking him a certain way, shoot it, make it. He can do the same thing going right, shoots it well in transition. There really just isn't an aspect of his game from the three-point line that he's not elite in. We'll run through some numbers because I know some of you guys are number guys. 40.8% from three this year. That's good for 90th percentile in the league. And I think what makes that even more impressive is his openness rating was in the 17th percentile. So in general, not getting wide open shots, right? Teams know the scouting report, and so he has to be a little bit more creative, take some tougher shots here and there. On top of that, 84th percentile in pull-up threes, 85th percentile in above the break threes, and 92nd percentile in corner threes. This man is as good as it gets as a three-point shooter in this league. Okay, so he's not super athletic or super long, so he has to find different ways to get to his three-point shot and generate good looks, given that, if he just sits in the corner, guys aren't going to help off at him. He'll never get a good look. The step back. The step back / the pullback, he has a disgusting step back and pullback that generally is able to help create a ton of space for him. Like that's Jabari Smith Jr., 6'10" with a 7'2" wingspan. Look how far away Karis LeVert ends up being when Desmond Bane takes this shot. Karis, where are you, bro? You're on the baseline. Like, that's just a stupid amount of space to create on a jumper. Here he is dropping off Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, look, Dante DiVincenzo is in the paint when Desmond Bane is taking this shot from the corner. Like, yeah, that'll be enough space. You see it with a lot of bigs, too. And this is Nick Claxton, who's honestly pretty mobile for a big. But he's able to stop on a dime, and the big just can't stop that fast. And so while the big is still moving back, he's now in control, can step back and hit over you. There's a pullback, and Royce doesn't even do a bad job here, man. But it's so fluid. He's getting downhill 1 second. All of a sudden, he's pulling it back, and your momentum just keeps you from a good closeout. More of the same here, but this time he's doing it going left, bucket. This one was filthy. Going right, stop on a dime, pull it back. I mean, we pause it here. It looks like a wide open shot. It is. All self-created. Jamichael's rooted to the spot. Can't even get a contest in. You just got to tip your cap. And, yeah, I get it. It's Jameme, but Mikal Bridges, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, can get some too. Incredible length. Doesn't matter. Bucket. Here he has Keegs dancing a little bit. Shot clock running down. Size up, dribble, cross, pull it back. The Rook honestly does a decent job closing out, but it just doesn't matter. This one's so mean, bro, and I love it because it's top of the key, so it ends up being really deep. But here we go. Yank. Ultimate confidence. 15 seconds on the shot clock. That is so tough. All right, last one. He's got Jordy breakdancing out here. Whoop. 19 on the shot clock. I know it's a 2-for-1, but still. Also, how deep is this three? Like he's just such a tough cover from beyond the arc. All right, speaking of deep, Desi B's range is very, very deep. And I think oftentimes when you think of the long range, deep distance shooters, you got the big three. You got Steph Curry, you have Dame Lillard, and you have Trae Young. But I fully believe that Desi B deserves to be a part of this club, and you'll see why with a lot of these clips. I think to me the funniest part is like he has these little T-Rex arms and he just dribbles down nonchalantly in transition and just rips it, bro. Like, we're going to stop it on some of these. Like, come on, that is so deep. And it's not like he's struggling or heaving. Like, this is a legitimate shot. Watch this one. His foot is on the logo of the New Orleans Pelicans. 15 on the shot clock. He just lets it rip. This is damn near the most ridiculous shot I've seen all season. At this point, he was extremely hot. I get it. But, like, 5 on the shot clock, that's damn near a 40-footer. He just rips it. Same normal shooting motion. Run it back. I mean, what is going on? All right, and the last aspect of his three-point game that we absolutely have to touch on is the pump fake, because Desi B has an absolutely lethal pump fake, as you can see from a lot of these clips. And Desi B's not a big legs jump high in the air jump shooter, right? There are a lot of guys that do that, but he doesn't need to jump a ton on his jumper. And so in turn, the pump fake looks exactly like his actual jump shot. So if you're closing out of control, you're done. Because one pump fake, you have to respect it. You have to fly. And then the whole floor is opened up for Desi. And so we'll get to it in a second, but it opens up the mid-range. It opens up driving lanes. It just helps complete the whole package of his offensive game. And then obviously you can blend the pump fake with a step back like you do here on a really good defender in PG. All right, let's move on to the next aspect of his offensive game, which is the mid-range. And I can't lie, like there's not a huge difference in what he does and how he operates in the mid-range compared to his three. He's still going to run off of screens both left and right and hit the mid-range shot. He's still going to be capable in the pick and roll, stopping and getting to his spot. He's still going to be capable of hitting tough mid-range shots, but I think it's just important, right? Because there are so many guys in this league who can shoot three-pointers. That next step is, okay, they run you off the line, the big sagging in the paint. Can you hit that pull-up midi? And he absolutely can hit that pull-up midi. And you can't really box him in because he can go left, he can go right. It doesn't really matter. He's comfortable going both ways. All right, let's talk our way through these last couple clips. I love this play here because he has Jaden McDaniels trailing him, who's a very good perimeter defender, super long. You probably don't want to pull up here because Jaden can affect that. But he sees the open space here, gets to his spot, gets a wide open jumper. That's feel in the mid-range. You guys know I love my yank pullback, so let's close with a couple. I mean, look, Austin Reeves is nowhere near affecting that shot. He's going to do it on Justin Holiday here. Size him up, go right, stop on a dime. I mean, there is so much space between those two. Lethal. All right, he also has the giant killing floater in his package, which is really crucial for smaller players who aren't super athletic. Because once you get into the paint, there are some monster rim protectors in this league, and you have to be able to get to your spot and float it over them. And I just think it's so awesome because I don't think that there has ever been a player with a higher touch to muscles ratio. You know, he's built like a football player. You would think he doesn't have touch, but this man has the softest of touch. And I really love these because there's a lot of nuance in it. So we're going to pause it here. I want you to watch it, and we're going to watch a couple of these. As soon as he gets a little bit of space, watch him move his body back in front of the defender and put him in jail. At that point, you just have the big in front of you. You just got to float it over. All right, here's more of the same. We'll pause it when he gets a little bit of space, and you'll see he uses his body to almost shield the ball, gets in front, and his strength plays a really big part of this. We'll get to that in the finishing, but he's very strong. All right, this is just another high-level play. He's going to come off the Tillman screen, sees that he's now got a little bit of separation, use his body to shield Keegan Murray so he can't get back into the picture. Not a ton of space between him and Sabo, floats it over the top, bucket. All right, so here we're blending everything together, and this is just elite stuff. So here, pump fake from three. Reeves has to respect it, and then pause it here. It's not like some of these other clips where it's a pick and roll, and they are trailing him, and all he has to do is get his body back in front. He needs elite body control to get back in front of Reeves, float it over one of the best shot blockers in the league, all in one motion. All right, my guys, let's get to the last aspect of Desmond Bane's scoring package, which is the finishing at the rim, something he is very good at. For my number guys out there, he finished in the 89th percentile in Basketball Index's finishing talent, which is a metric that looks at a player's ability to get to and finish at the rim. And you're probably wondering why. Well, one, he's very strong, right? We've seen that in different aspects before. He's a bowling ball. He's a bowling ball. Two, just great touch. I feel like we've seen that plenty in this video. He has great touch floaters going right, going left. And while he doesn't have this super flashy handle, like he's not the type in general that just like dance on you the top. He can do, he has his moments. We'll get to it in a little bit. He's very concise at attacking open space that is created from the threat of his jumper and in transition. And on top of that, he's very hard to move off his spot. All right, let's break down some of these clips. All right, this one's very straightforward. We're just looking at the strength that he has driving to the lane. So we'll stop it here. He's on the side of him, but still there's room to get back in front. But look at him, just go through it. Easy left-hand touch layup. Here I'm going to show you him do it on a 7-foot center. We'll pause it here, watch him get into the body, keep him off, and finish through him. That's a 7-foot center. Here's a lot of what we talk about. Threat of the jumper, clear, concise, get downhill, left-hand finish at the rim. Scotty, I hope your balls are okay. All right, semi-transition here, and Mason Plumlee has to respect the jumper, comes out and shows, clean-ass split, lefty finish at the rim. All right, this next one is a really fun blend of everything we've talked about. 8 seconds left in the quarter. DeAnthony Melton, who's a really good on-ball defender, dogging him full court. Nothing flashy, right, but never gets bumped off his spot, gets downhill, meets Joel in the paint, floats it over him, bucket. Similar-ish play here in transition, and I love how he just keeps the dribble alive because a lot of guys at this point right here are going to pick the dribble up. But he's able to get around Scotty, turn the corner, and make a tough shot at the rim. He is just showing off his touch again. This is one of the better shot blockers in the league. Almost like a righty hook shot floated over the top. All right, guys, I know I said in general he's not going to dance on you, but y'all got to watch this one, all right? So he's going to stop on a dime, lefty in and out, cross it over, pull it back, hezzy, draw the bump, left hand finish, and one. My Lord, run that back. And I think my favorite aspect of it is he's built like a muscle hamster T-Rex, man. But he can do stuff like this. I mean, he's just such a fun player to watch hoop. And then we got to get into the last aspect of his offensive game, which is the playmaking, something he's made a huge stride in coming into the league. Rookie year, averaged 1.7 assists per game. Sophomore year, 2.7 assists per game, and then last year filled it up with nearly 4.5 assists per game. A couple metrics I like to look at on Basketball Index are high value assists per 75 possessions. He's in the 81st percentile there. That's basically assists that lead to high quality looks. And then he's also in the 90th percentile in Basketball Index's overall playmaking talent, which is a grade that factors in pass creation volume, passing efficiency, passing spread. I know it's almost become like a buzzword in a lot of my videos, but he's a really quick processor. And that's honestly because I'm not going to make videos on guys that aren't high IQ basketball players, but he reads the game very, very well. We'll get to some examples later. Makes the right pass, doesn't overcomplicate things. He'll throw in some fancy passes here and there, but more often than not, his assists just come from getting downhill and making the right read and taking what the defense gives him. So let's take a look at some of these. All right, so take this play, for example. Pick and roll with Kenny Lofton. He's going to read these two backline defenders. Najee Marshall on the right, CJ McCollum on the left. He's using his eyes to look at Kenny Lofton, which is going to hold CJ McCollum just low enough that he can make this pass out to John Conchar. CJ's now in a vulnerable position. Layup. All right, similar read on this dribble handoff from Tillman, getting downhill, and he's reading that back line, Christian Wood. Is he low enough that I can kick it out to my shooter? Okay, yes, he is. Hold him a little bit with the eyes, kick it out, bucket. And I know this is obvious to some, but I still have to touch on it. These reads are so much harder to make real-time live in an NBA game than slowing it down with us. But here he's going to get himself into a little bit of trouble, jump in the air, but the whole time his eyes are focused on Tillman. It draws Batum down. As soon as Batum goes down, he hits Kennard. Cash. All right, more high-level manipulation here, and I want you to focus on Jalen Suggs in the middle of the court and how he moves out to the three-point shooter because Bane is using his eyes. Pass fake, leave Santi wide open. That's good stuff. All right, you guys are starting to get the idea. So we'll get one more. Look at his eyes. Watch Keldon Johnson drop on Jaren Jackson. As soon as that happens, kicks out to the open shooter. I love this shit. I really love it. It just shows high-level processing and IQ. All right, this clip's more about the actual pass-making ability and awareness. He's going to fumble the ball going up and immediately left-hand whip pass on the money to the corner. Now, once that whole drive, did he look at Santee? All right, now I'm going to throw in a couple really nice drop-off passes. Notice on all these, his eyes are never focused on the cutter. He's always looking to the corner. And so that's what really opens these up. Because if he's driving downhill and looking at this cutter, these guys are going to cut off these passing lanes. Honestly, he gets into a little bit of trouble here, and he shouldn't make a habit of these jump passes. But when we freeze it here, right, there's no way you think he can get it to Tyus Jones. He ends up doing it. Yeah, you shouldn't make a habit of it, but that's still really high level of awareness. This is a super tough pass with the left hand through traffic. Bucket for Santee. And then I had to throw this nasty behind the back pass to Brandon Clark in here as well. So he has some flair to him as well. A lot of it is functionally just making the right read. That doesn't mean he can't make fancy passes as well. But that'll about do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed and can see what I see in Desmond Bane and his offensive game. Ja Morant out the first 25 games of the year. He's going to be leaned on heavily, I believe, in those games. And I think that can kind of be a boon for him to make an all-star push, especially because, again, those games are weighted more because they're before the All-Star break. I think you could see a jump up. I mean, he's gotten better every single year, but a jump up into like 23-ish points a game, get all the way to 5 assists a game. I'm excited to watch him continue to develop. He's a really high IQ player with a ton of skill, strength, and touch as well. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you on our next video.